Hello everyone, welcome back to Star Wars Empire at War as Zsinj's Empire. Previously we have integrated two Imperial factions at once. Of course the Pentastar Alignment and the Grace and Maldred have been integrated for our own. And we're that much closer to creating the Dark Empire. So moving forwards we really have the simple job of increasing our Imperial legitimacy to 60%. Currently, we are standing on 51%, so it shouldn't be too difficult considering we are right at the core of the galaxy with Coruscant on our doorstep. And that means we're going to be reducing the Imperial Remnant's own legitimacy quite directly, as well as the Edified Authority's own legitimacy, as these two, the only two factions outside of us now, of course, but they have very strong legitimacy at around 23% each-ish. We also need to get rid of the Dustguard League in these two planets over here because they did previously launch an attack which Zsinj did successfully defend against, but we did lose a couple Imperial Star Destroyers because of it, and Zsinj does need to heal and repair for himself. So we're going to bring in our Vengeance Fleet immediately. But we're also going to take a quick pause because there's something I haven't done, which I did plan to do much earlier in the game, but completely forgot about, and that's actually increase the difficulty to Admiral. I was hoping to do that really towards the end of the CSA's takeover, but forgot about it, and it might have made quite the difference this campaign. But I think for this last stretch we can certainly work with it. We firstly, though, I think need to take Corrida. It's been freshly occupied by the Edified Authority, and they do have a fairly sizable fleet over here with an allegiance and 4 Imperial Star Destroyers there. So luckily, we are over here with Zenkins adjacent to that, so I think we can certainly take that on. Let's get going. Now this is going to be a bloody battle, but I think we can certainly win. We don't want the enemy to retreat from this. Not that they'd be too likely with all of these capital ships here. And this is very much an Edified Authority fleet, isn't it? Very centred around these massive capital ships. There's no point in waiting about. We're going to come from one side if possible to really focus on that allegiance as quickly as possible. Or is it better to simply get on top of one of the Imperials as quickly as possible? I think it probably is. We'll use, of course, Zenkins as a bit of a shield. Bring this young lady all the way back here. She's very vulnerable. And I think we bring in just a couple standard Imperials to begin with. We might want to flank with the rest of our group in a second when the enemy's moved about. I want to focus at the moment just the one Imperial, just to get their general firepower down as quickly as possible. Turn Zenkins around so he does get as many firing arcs open as possible. Lovely stuff. And we'll use him again now to actually work around another ship while we're very quickly working through this one. Zenkins can get through the shields very quickly indeed. And now the enemy has repositioned, I think it's time to bring in our Tech Hero and a few victories towards the flank of the enemy here. And that will do very well indeed. Very nearly down with this one. How we're doing here, let's get rid of some turbo lasers please. Group this to 2 and focus on this one please. Get on those engines so it can't turn around against us. Great stuff. That's dealt with. Get on top of the KDY since its shields are down and it will go down very quickly itself. We'll focus this now that it has 0 shields itself. Get on top of this Imperial and then we can start working on the Allegiance by itself. We're going to start taking some damage on Zenkins as his shields are nearly up. That's not a problem. Really not a problem. Love to see it. Love it when a plan comes together. Now, really, I'd say this is actually not too bad a fleet from the Edified Authority. Of course, it's got some pop room available, so that just needs some IPVs, I'd say. Maybe some gladiators for those proton torpedoes would really help as well. The sort of fleets I'd certainly make as the Edified Authority. You can see even with these flanking we have lost some good health on this victory too here. We need to get them into position now and just focus down this allegiance. We'll certainly get, when we're in range, powerful weapons on these victories and we'll work through this very, very quickly indeed.
Target critical. I got one.
There we go, very nice indeed. And we did actually catch a couple ground units in that as well, which means we certainly want to press the advantage before there are any structures on Corrida. Take that for ourselves. That also opens up Kuat. Do we go straight for that? It's surrounded. We'd have to dedicate a fleet specifically for the defence of that. I think we would probably dedicate this one over here. It's not the greatest. Probably give it some capital ships. We'd merge it with this one as well. And that can be brought over, I think. That'd be great stuff. So, let's pick up from Ord Mantell, I think. Yeah, some good armour, some good infantry. And we'll reinforce over here. Might as well take the infantry from Fader as well. Is there anything else sitting about? Yeah, these defensive units will just be useless now in these positions. So far back. So bring these over as well. Now, I think we also bring this person over to Borles. Well, I'm not entirely sure how, but we do now have vision onto the ground of Corrida. It's a good thing we do. We see a lot of armour as well as an A6 Juggernaut hero. Very unique. Don't get any others of those, and that's specific to the Ariado authorities. So SPMATs, of which we have 5, are going to be very, very useful indeed. I think we certainly play this defensively. Sit back tight, wait for the enemy to come to us. In fact, we might just drop over to this command post once again. That seems to be a decent strategy there. We can funnel the enemies towards us. At least that's the plan. So, yeah, working with that, we immediately put a dropship down. Might as well build up this. It certainly goes straight on over. Like so. I don't want to go anywhere else because there's a good risk of being caught by those AT-ACs. Yeah, you can see they're sending in all of these scouts already. Don't like that whatsoever. Command base, not so useful. Those proton missiles might be a bother. But really, they're just a hulking mess to chew through. I think we certainly actually want to get in some of these raptors. So, of course, the Ariado Authority very good at using armour. And also destroying armour. Oh, here we go. Here we see a lot of those speeders coming in. Actually, we can't shoot that Lancer with our SMATs, which is a shame. So get on top of that with this. Maybe we can. It's just got a minimum range. It's not a problem. Dealt with those speeders all good. Hitting one of those ACACs already. Do we have line of sight? Getting there. I think it gets ACA kind of cannon unit. Yeah, lost one of those already. Don't like that. Get our raptors out. Focus there, thank you. Great stuff. Focus this one would be great. And there is the Juggernaut. Oh, some ACAC down. Let's get on top of the area effect if possible there. We see all that armour coming through now. Another SMAC there for the line of sight, please. Yeah, not great health on this, but there's not a lot we can do about that, unfortunately. Yeah, they're just going to completely ignore us there. Let's get the ACAP on top of that. Need to deploy. Ripping apart this, of course. Doesn't look like it has any fire access now. So much armour. Yeah, okay. Can we deal with that? ATA is certainly the choice there, but it's okay. Look at the damage to do against these things. They have 1,000 health. Don't think we're actually firing out with this. Let's pull these back at least. Bloody hell, this should be the last of them. If we've remembered correctly. No, okay. So we took a couple of losses there, but to be quite honest, I can certainly take that. Very happy with that. I think we'll heal up here as well. So, what else do we have? There we go, another ACAC, of course. Righty, can we bring that in here? Let's... There we go. I just had some raptors I want to kill. They're not a problem.
Position Alpha construction.
Should be able to get some line of sight as that comes in here with the SMATs. Didn't mean to press move, but not a problem.
Copy.
There you go. Walking to its death. Excellent stuff. So to take a small number of losses ourselves, but I mean we can certainly replace those a lot easier than some massive heavy armor and a hero. Karida is very much a unique planet for the Empire.
Constructing. Building
So we do get, of course, the training grounds as well as this, which is better for speeder bikes. We might as well guess it. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not so worried about the units it brings out and bolsters. Wants to get over to Brental, I think, to help out the garrison there. The game running particularly slowly today. Interesting. I think we're going to scout Kuat now, see what's about there, as well as Coruscant, and make sure we know what is over towards the Duskan League before they can build up again. So, we see some heroes. Excellent. Don't see a lot actually on Kuat, so that's very interesting. What about the neighbouring Balmora? Small fleet. Okay. Looks like the Imperial Remnant's on its last legs actually. Goes to N'Zoth. Yeah, we see quite a sizable fleet here, but nothing we can't handle. And some fair ground units. ATSTAs. We do want to reinforce Zsinj, I think, with these Keldavis. He's now at 100%, which is great stuff. Was I going to change over an Imperial from here? Already did so, not a problem. I'm pretty sure I created another spy. I did not. Okay. Let's bring the TAG cruiser down to Brental. We can now manually build TAG cruisers, which is excellent. There we go. So this might be the hero I was wondering about. Yeah, we get the Armadia Star Dreadnought. So that, I believe that actually explodes violently on destruction. So we don't want to be anywhere near that when that explodes. OS. That might actually be this modified Ceranum. Either way, don't want to be near that when it goes off. Because it's such a... Yeah, it says in the capabilities, reactor explosion after death deals damage to all units in range, whether it's its own or enemies. So I would be a little bit skeptical and cautious about bringing in perhaps a superstar destroyer around that, because that's certainly the way to lose your most valuable ships. Even if we bring in capital ships and lose a lot of those, it's probably more favourable, isn't it? Having said that, I think we'll at least raid Dornick so that we can get rid of this fleet power. Unfortunately, on N'Zoth, they do have that capital and dreadnought capable shipyard there, so they can make those losses back. I think we at least raid over here for now. So certainly going to rely on our vengeance over here, aren't we? Let's get immediately on top of actually this Gladiator, because of all of the Proton missiles it does have. Actually, it's an assault concussion missile Gladiator, but not to worry. Not to worry whatsoever. Let's get on top of that Imperial then. Bring in our Hapen Dragons. Lovely. And bring up some Nova Cruisers a little closer to protect. That won't be a bother whatsoever. Just make those a big blob. Do benefit quite a bit from very simple tactics like that with those ships there. Let's focus on these spheres with the Vengeance. Can rip those apart very, very quickly indeed. And I think we just want to turn to face, don't we? Do you have any special abilities with these? Just powers of fire? Not a problem, let's do that. Get on top of these spheres once again, please. They're just a lot more dangerous than we can give them credit for there. Losing some shield power on the Vengeance, but not to worry. A lot of ion cannons coming out here. I think really using Hapen ships might be the way to go against the remaining fleets that the Duskin League does have.
Get behind them.
But it can be very risky going against that Saranin, which such a horrible explosion. Not healing through the damage we're taking there, which is rather a shame. Despite overlapping 4 of these galleons. But focus fire, can't do much about it sometimes. Let's push up, destroy these space stations, and then we'll decide what we want to do with the planet afterwards. There we go, lost a Nova Cruiser, but we certainly can't begrudge that. So I think, yeah, that might be the way to go, is actually maybe bringing the Vengeance, bring that at a distance, if possible, to the Saranin, and sacrifice a lot of these Hapen ships forwards there against the enemy fleet still remaining. We're not going to take Dornick just yet. I want to keep that as a bit of a barrier. I'm going to come over, of course, to the Terrafin. We can do this. Come on. Yeah, create a lot of these battle dragons. And can we do a Charavar as well? Certainly can. Let's create a lot more there. Probably should have used our hero here. Haypews who don't actually have the influence there, but that's not a problem. We could certainly build that up either way just for the infrastructure score. We are going to keep scouting around the Imperial worlds here, because you can't push in to one planet without considering its adjacent defences, can you? Look at Coruscant. That wouldn't be the hardest takeover. They do have a good amount of heroes here, but there's an Imperial 1 hero and another Imperial 2 and another Imperial 1. Removing these heroes with an A5 Juggernaut and of course Tarashin in his ACAC. Not the worst though, play very defensive to start with. See Torpedo Sphere at Prakith, and yeah, there's not a lot going on otherwise. I think we go for Kuat immediately so we can get out another Superstar Destroyer and finally get our Corona frigate, which has been sorely needed, I think, for quite some time. So, who do we send around there? Because I wouldn't mind, I think, raiding the graveyard just to open that up. We can use that as a basic buffer. Yeah, let's do that. If we at least create Golem here, Zsinj can move over to help out at Brentile, actually. Has he been reinforced? He has. Okay, let's bring that over.
I will take it under consideration.
We don't have ground-to-orbit guns on Kuat, so this should actually be quite decent for our tank battlecruiser, maybe, or even Zenkins. I wouldn't mind adding a few more ships to our tag group here. So what we're going to do is come from here and actually add a couple Crimson Victories would be quite useful there. Take some time, but not to worry. Do we have anything that might be a decent carrier focus fleet here? Neutrons do bring out a couple bombers, but not the greatest, are they? What about these Imperial escorts? They bring out something. Yeah, I might have to rely on some pirate ships, actually. If we come to Mindor and create at least one of these boxes, but that does take some time to create. Yeah, let's just bring out a few of these. They're not extremely population intensive, are they? 8. We do also have a Venator and a couple acclimators. They'll be useful for it. So I think, really, a capsule ship at least, and maybe some corvettes after that. So we come to Bilbringi and we create a Imperial 2.
Constructing unit.
Actually, 67 for a tag. We could get 2. Could get 2 in one fleet here. I mean, why not, really? Let's make another and see what happens about that. So, how are we doing over here? All good. Let's form an attack against Kuat.
Regroup for another attack. I'm on them. On him. Squad, move in.
Okay, so Kuat does have a planetary shield generator, so we're certainly going to want to prioritise that. Once we're in that position, we could just simply walk into the enemy base, which might not be a bad idea because it's in completely different opposite direction to the victory point once we've taken the base there. Brought in some Pentastar alignment troops over here. I think they're pretty damn decent. Going to, I think, get a couple A9s out because the enemy is fairly infantry and droid based. They will do for now, I think.
Good to go, sir.
Construction complete.
Ready for action.
They can transport our infantry over to this area.
Where are we headed, sir?
Problem with the Pentastar infantry is they're very much focused against enemy infantry. See the A9s really ripping through these Hulk droids there. Might as well get these out though. I do believe they have some AC capabilities. Yeah, absolutely. Great stuff. Well, I might as well just move straight on over. Let's create some turrets here. Pull back to garrison inside here. We're just going to try and protect and otherwise ignore this area. Just stall out the enemy.
Just give me a coordinate.
Yeah, these A9s absolutely ripping apart these droids here. Despite them having shields, not much of a bother, are they? Look at that. It's where the A9s really shine, actually. Can't sleep on them. I think we get a Nemesis gunship. And these walkers will be very useful as well. But we do want to bring in some of our own Raptors. I think another A9 to help us out there. Do see these speeders coming, they just don't stand much of a chance against A9s, do they? Do we want repair troopers? There's just medics, not so much of a bother. The Nemesis gunship now needs to shine, but there's an A turret just there, so we can't can't push in, unfortunately. Focus on these SCA, ATSCAs rather. Not quite in range of the turret there just yet, that's great. Might be now, not a problem. Everything else can certainly take that out. We're going to want to repair our A9 and our walkers, aren't we? It's that gunship. Okay, let's get on over here. See an anti-infantry turret there. We can certainly take on the chariot here. Who's in a couple walkers though. Don't like that. Yeah, certainly want to use these gunships in groups, don't we? We have a second one. We certainly do. Might as well pair that with one of our own Imperial dropships. Then they can focus on this, I think. In fact, let's take some infantry over. Should be okay by the time we've dealt with the turret there. See the enemy getting stuck over here. Not a problem. We're going to finally get through by the looks of things. Let's get on over to this. Take that on. Absolutely fine. How are they doing over here? Okay, we want to group up towards our bunker.
Move order acknowledged.
Actually, what I want to do is just push up a tiny bit. Use that.
Squad on the way.
Doubt they'll come quite that close, really, will they? Have dealt with that, that's excellent. So if we really wanted to, we could jump on over now with a few units of infantry to this area. I don't think that's really needed, is it? Let's at least try and protect this area to remove enemy threats. I think what we'll do is garrison our infantry where possible.
We're ready to fight, sir.
Like so.
Yes, sir.
We can leave this detachment here, I think.
Where do you need us, sir?
How we're doing. Let's focus this chariot, please. Lovely. Rip through the infantry with our aero units. What are these over here? Just standard army troopers, not a bother. I think we raid this command post and move over finally to the enemy base down here. Yeah, there's nothing really to contend with us here. Let's get rid of this base so they no longer field enemy troops. At least get rid of that because of those rockets, of course. Rip them apart. Aerial units just so powerful in this game. Let's get rid of these armor troopers. And of course remove the barracks. This is an overclock, isn't it, for increasing the armor damage. Don't need to focus that area anymore. Let's bring in our gunships here to support. Remove the infantry coming around. I think we simply bombard this area. Tax agency, simply because it's low, might as well get rid of it. And that's excellent. Get on top of this chariot, please. Hey, there's a anti-air turret there. Let's be careful of that. Yeah, we'll certainly be able to deal with that with just these walkers. Actually, contrary to previous belief, haven't lost any walkers just yet. Now might be the time. Now it's just scouting around for remaining enemies. Map's showing that there's something around here still. Is this? Doesn't look like anything there. That's interesting. Not picking up on anything, but on the mini-map it does look like there's something there.
Keep going.
Interesting one.
Standing by.
Let's come here and build a repair station.
Troop carrier, ready to pick up soldiers, sir.
Hopefully it's just this couple of walkers here. No, there's still things about. Interesting. What do they have? What do they have? They have a lot of turrets. Get rid of those at least, just to make ourselves a little safer. I'm really wondering where the enemy might be. Let's see. Use the enemy. Ah, here we go. We see some infantry here, but we do see an anti-air turret. So if we just come this area,
Over there.
we can catch them isolated there. Is that going to be it? Yes, excellent stuff. It's always one pesky unit just hovering around, isn't there? Refusing to retreat. But we finally have Kuat. Such an integral planet for Zsinj. Yeah, the Lambda group is now ours. Excellent. We see enemies building up over here, about to invade Corrida. Well, if you say so, mate. I've just reinforced Zsinj and put them to defend there. We'll do that for sure. I really hate the formation you get put in when you're defending. Oh, it's a torpedo sphere. They are treating us. And an allegiance. Well, this needs to pull back. We need to pull this forward. Now have reinforced Zsinj with a good handful of Keldavis. I think the rest of this can be taken up by perhaps Lancers. Might not be a bad idea. I'm getting some reinforcements in here, so bring those forwards, of course. Oh, that's a shame. It's a shame we... Well, an interdictor-capable ship, then, is going to be the case now. I think we need to chase these down, really, don't we? Back to perhaps the graveyards. How are we doing constructing that tag, though, is the question. It's still not there because we wanted this Imperial. That's not a problem. Enemy's about to invade a Bro Sky. How? Ah, because they're coming from Collar 4. Not a bother. Who would be closest to deal with that? Probably Zsinj, actually. And you have to fight through Collar 4. That's interesting. We could certainly do that. Let's double check we have that one. Pathfinder. That's going to be interesting. We'll probably have to fight on the ground though. We do have a bit of a garrison. It's also through that and come over to a Bro Sky. How are we doing on the construction here? Actually a bit quicker on Charabar there. That's interesting. So they said they're going to invade a Bro Sky. They better hurry up and do it. So, I do apologise, the game is running rather slowly today. It's just that time of... just that time in the game We've got so much going on, so much to process.
Constructing.
Might as well also look at researching the Lambda group where possible. Do we have to do that specifically? No, we don't have to do that specifically from Kuat. Let's do a tutorial Mantel,
Researching.
just so it's out of the way there. Nothing's going to happen to interfere with us. Now, the question is, where are we putting all of our ground units for defences, really? Well, what we need to do... the Empire's taking... or Ariad Authority is dealing with Dornick. Okay, we can leave that there. If we simply defend at Mrist, the enemy there can deal with N'Zoth for us. That saves us a bit of bother. This was for the tank group. Yeah, we need to be a little more thoughtful on what units we're using to attack and what units we're using to defend, because it's not ideal, of course, to keep having to bring up certain units from certain planets, is it? So at Brental, how we're looking, I think that's a pretty decent garrison to start with. It's got ATAAs, some A9s, armour, a lot of infantry there. We could certainly deal with that. There's a lot of armour garrison. So if we keep that at Brental, that's absolutely fine. At Corrida, I think we want to use this as an attack force. There's a lot of infantry. So what do we want to add to that? Well, we certainly want these ATAAs there, and maybe a Canderous unit as well. So bring in 2 Canderous, ATAA, take away our hero, of course, both heroes, and I think we keep the Raptors there.
Heavy gun troop reporting. We're an assault tank, not a boat.
It looks like our battle dragon units have done, as well as got a minor commander. That's excellent. We'll bring those over to our extra fleet then. So Corrida's now looking pretty damn decent, defensive wise, which is great. I don't want to use that as a fortress planet though, because it doesn't have the production slots for it really. What else are we looking at then? Borleus and Mrist, of course. Well, Borleus is not a defensive planet, as shown by the production, but I think with Mrist we could certainly sacrifice the income there for perhaps a planetary generator. And we want to keep the ACAPs there, they'd be excellent. Keep the infantry, but I think the heroes can move. We change those over perhaps with the siege tower and the artillery, don't we? Like so. I've just put them in the wrong order there, but not a problem. That'll be excellent. So just pull those back as well. Cool. And in fact, what we do is we bring all of our offensive units to one rear planet. So I think Mindor will be the place for now. Looks like the enemy's not going to raid Abroa Sky. That's a bit of a bother. But we're going to have to take Collar Fort anyway to link up Corrida and Charabat, aren't we? So that's probably the next aim there. Have we created our shipyard over here? Not yet, but let's at least research the Corona, because that won't take too long. Then we can get our industry up here. We want to save a little bit of money and actually get some use out of our administrator, don't we? So, Zsinj, once again, can pave the way for Collar 4, and that means we can then move our defending units from Charabat over to there, doesn't it? And maybe even to Balmora later on, just to tighten up our defences, because currently we have a lot of territory that's quite wide open for attack. We're still looking at this pocket over here, but currently not a lot going on. Kashyyyk probably the most important there. So with that being said, let's get this industry working through. What do we want on Kuas? I think we want to make this a defensive planet, so we get a couple heavies. That's out, that's all good. Created or researched the Corona at least. So let's move in. Yeah, we needed that, that's absolutely fine. So, I think we also spam out a load of Coronas and sell off any Nebulons. So we come here, sell off Nebulons, like so. And once again, spam out a load of these Coronas. They're rather expensive, it's 1100. But you can't understate their usefulness. We'll just modernise here as well then. We have 6 to sell off. And let's see, have we not created a We've not created a space station there. Can actually create defilers out of class wound. That's news to me. Certainly news to me.
Building started.
Okay, let's create a few coronas out of here then. Lovely. I want to do the same over here, don't we? Love to see it. Just so they're not tempted to use a Nebulons, Coronas provide pretty much everything you'd ever want. Point defense, a good array of weaponry, and some fighters and bombers, as well as a power to shields ability. There's excellent units. Absolutely brilliant. So, the Lambda group. What exactly do we get? So we got an Allegiance battlecruiser, as well as a commander of tier 3, which is excellent stuff. Absolutely brilliant. We also got Victor Greaves over here, another intelligence agent. That's all good. We got Roden Bane as a spy. Okay, not so worried about that. A B5 Juggernaut hero in Serdif Tonks there. Commercial acumen as well, so he's actually more of a defensive hero on a planet which creates a lot of money. So that might be something like Brental there, or even Kuat maybe? Kuat's not bringing the most money. Let's put him on Brental, and we can replace him perhaps replace A9 with him there. That would be useful indeed. Well, now that housekeeping is done, we're finally invading Collar 4 with Zsinj, of course. And I think it's quite suiting to actually reinforce some of these Keldavis, so we can get quite a few of them active at once. They do provide some excellent weaponry. Let's get on top of this Imperial 1 to start with, of course.
Frequency open.
Grab those and get hold of that galleon very quickly. I don't like the idea of them healing whatsoever. Just rinse through the enemy's hard points here. On top of those ion cannons, please. I'm not hitting that galleon apparently. The enemy's going to bloody retreat. No, they're not. We're going to hit their engines very quickly indeed. Dealt with that one's engines. Get rid of that galleon because it's so low. And there you go. So an interdict is certainly capable of... Actually, I don't know. I think we want firepower really with Zsinj's fleet, don't we? Rather than an interdictor. Because it would get in the way of bringing out all 3 of those Keldavis, wouldn't it? And a retreat in this case is just as useful as a demolishing victory there. So, we're going to bring from Charawa. What do we have on Terrafin? Is it just... yeah, just our bonus units. We might as well bring them in. And we finally make use of the Abro Sky Garrison. They can just come straight on over.
Construction complete.
Do we have infantry at Wayland? We certainly have a few there. Bring those around. It actually shows a very risky auto-resolve though, which did cause a fair few losses, but I can certainly take them. That has now opened up our Hapen reinforcements over to our fleet here. I want to increase the amount of Nova Cruisers for sure there. Or even just bring out some more Coronas, really. Doesn't hurt, because they do basically the same thing for less pop points, and our Tag Battlecruiser is ready, and I want to test that out. So, we're going to do something a bit silly. I think we're going to go for Balmora. Yeah, Balmora is not necessarily bad, is it? Thought at Kuat we could... there we go. Yeah, we have our extra Superstar Destroyer at Kuat now in Raslam. Another Executor, the Razor's Kiss. We're going to be absolutely up to our necks in super ships, aren't we?
Construction complete.
Yeah, looks like the Ariada Authority isn't too interested in the Zoth at the moment. Not a problem. Not a problem. How's our legitimacy standing at the moment? Probably not a lot higher. It's 57. Okay. Well, with that being said, we certainly take Balmora and use that extra industry there to really boost our production. And I think there we'll create another workforce camp. So let's finally get on with it. Use this group. Get a Pathfinder going. We've got a Raider Corvette there. So there's a bit of a mishmash here of ships. We'll see how that performs in battle. But first I want to know if they have actually ground-to-orbit weapons on Balmora. And they do not. In fact, there's a lot of infantry protecting Balmora, as you'd expect. So I think we can certainly walk over this. Enemy's about to invade a planet. Where is that? That's over here. Well, let's try and give it a defense. And we were going to merge these two fleets anyway. Let's move that over. There's going to be huts going for us there. That's interesting. Not too much actually, so this fleet can deal with that in itself, which is great because he got there just in time. I love the look of these hut carriers. They're absolutely beautiful ships. Unfortunately, got to use a non-voice person. Neutron Star Bulk. We can bring him in at the rear. Let's get the Crimson out. This is quite the mishmash here, this fleet. We're going to have to sort this out later on. Bring the Tartan and these Corvettes in front. Do these provide point defense? No. In fact, they're fighters, so of course they don't. Visual Corvette is his then over here. Backed up by Carracks. Might as well bring these in. There we go. Everyone over here needs to move to face. Let's get... there we go. Yeah, they're retreating. Okay, can we focus their engines down quickly enough? I don't think we can. Those shields are just too strong for us there. In fact, yes, we do get it down. Excellent stuff. So, with that out of the way, let's finally move over to invade Balmora. Now, as a reminder, why are we invading Balmora in particular? And we have Coruscant on our doorstep and Chandrila over here as well. Well, it's another way to protect Kuat, another central planet that's absolutely vital for our advances. It also brings a lot of industry for us, and it's very, very defensible because of that. Also rids the enemy of the Balmoran arms at least as well. It's not going to benefit us too much to hold that, but taking that away from the enemy is certainly a plus there. And currently it's not the most well defended planet by any means. We're going to have to go for the shield generator over here, or the power generator rather, so that we can deactivate these turbo lasers properly. But not to worry, we're very well practiced at that, and there are some very good tools on the planet for an aggressive force there. So let's finally bring over this tag group from Brental. So there's not the greatest amount of defences here. We're just going to be seeing the fighters and such out of the Golans, really. Otherwise, just an acclimated a few actual land units here, which is excellent to catch that. Bit of a mishmash once again of units in this fleet. So just for the fun of it, we are going to bring out 2 tag battle cruisers here because it's very fun to do so. And they can certainly put in a lot of damage themselves. Actually pretty damn decent attack cruisers. Of course, they don't have any abilities, but that's not too much of a bother there. We are going to bring out a box. We're going to bring out a few of these ships as well. So we do have some extra fighters and bombers. We're going to bring out some Coronas we've just recently recruited specifically to protect. We're going to have to get that Trenchant and Raider out as well. Probably going to want to protect those later on with some galleons, but that's not so much of a bother. Get the Venator out as well as this Imperial. The acclimators can assist at the back as well, so that we do get some more fighters and bombers out once again. So actually not too bad a fleet this, with 2 massive centerpieces providing a lot of upfront firepower and tanking ability. We do get a lot of fighters and bombers out now with this extra composition, so I think this does work quite well. Quite fun. Whether it's optimal or not so worried about that. It certainly does the job for me. They do also get powerful weapons, and their weapons are largely medium weapons. Multi-role, which means they don't really specialise too well in anything, but they can cover some gaps, can't they? Love to see these dual tank battle cruisers. The fact that we can create these on demand now is very, very useful indeed, because they're not particularly pop intensive at 67. Which I think is actually the real strength of tank battle cruisers. Probably about to lose a Corona, so let's bring this back. With our bombers, going to group them up, actually pick up the TIE Defenders as well. We're going to start weakening the shields on this Golan, I think. We have any spare fighters in the back just to protect against these units over here. We could probably hit that with a Corona, although it does have some light rapid laser cannons. That's light triple turbo lasers, they won't do too well against that. So the Corona's not really made for destroying enemy fighters and bombers, but they do have point defense, which certainly works.
Ready for battle.
Yeah, we're starting to get on top of these shields here. Want one more volley out. We should be doing the real bombs there. I'll do some work against that. It's not too much of a bother there. Actually, that crowd could come around here because I forget that this box actually has fleet tender capabilities. That's not too bad. The shields are at least back up now, which is great stuff. And these victories also provide some anti-corvette frigates fighting power as well, which is also very useful. Raiders, could be better, could be worse. They perform that anti-fighter role, don't they, for the Pentastar alignment. Just very slow on this advance, isn't it, with these two battle cruisers. Actually, this might have been a fleet to send against the Duskan League.
We're moving out.
Because if we can get all of our fighters and bombers in, they could do very, very well against the Saranan, actually. A lot of IPVs there, so we're going to move away and actually focus on this trade port. In terms of trade ports for ourselves, I believe we're actually at full capacity now, which is actually very, very lucrative indeed. We have trade ports at every particular trade hub, which does get that bonus as well. So very, very happy for that.
Star Destroyer reporting in.
We're going to start moving over to the Golem 2 now, and move our lighter ships over to the shipyard there, and that would be very nice indeed. We can start landing, but the Ariada Authority has moved over a minor group to Corrida, which Zsinj is also about to intercept.
I've got him. Target pursuing enemy forces.
Now, my favourite tactic actually when dealing with Balmoran planetary, or rather shield generators, is actually to send over the main attacking force to this command post over here. Looks like we're stuck with our infantry here, that's a shame. But we send a good detachment of infantry over here and over here because there are some abandoned droid facilities which we can use to deal with the power generator, which is absolutely brilliant. We are going to start with a couple A9s though, as well as some Raptors, just to take this command post over here. Would be very useful. While those are passing, let's at least create some anti-infantry turret there. But it looks like the Empire's beat us over here. That shouldn't be too much of a bother. See what they have over there, of course, but you can see we're getting these Hulk droids out of this vehicle factory, or droid factory rather. They'll do very, very well against pretty much anything the enemy sends at us, unless it's overly heavy armour. We're going to rip apart the infantry here with the support of our A9s, that's absolutely fine. We do get the minor healing coming out, which does support us that much further, and ripping through, of course, the very weak B1s. See some speed is coming, that's all good. So let's now move up to the next droid factory, which could have done at least with one unit earlier. Let's create some Bacta station there, and I think another anti-vehicle turret actually would be useful there. We could just sit back here, wait around. Where's the nearest? Yeah, okay, so the nearest build pads are actually forward here and rear there. That's okay. So what we'll do here is actually make use of this Pentastar artillery and get actually a battle tank down, because that's something we're lacking here. Keep an eye out to the north. Yeah, there we go. Lovely stuff. We might want to get out an AP as well from mobile anti-vehicle. Oh, that was very nasty indeed. Let's get another use of infantry out here, and I think we want actually to bring out a hero. The Storm Commander is not exactly bad. I'm thinking... yeah, let's bring out this man. So we do see enemies coming out here. Shouldn't be too much of a bother. So that shield is down there. Let's deal with that. Lovely. We see enemy... that's our own indirect fire artillery. That's great stuff. So we now have a massive group over here, and as we capture the command posts up here, that can actually get larger. Need to be a little careful to see what we run into though. Like this. Yeah, and instantly much weaker there. That's a shame. So that's probably not going to work now because it's been caught out. Either way, it's doing a fair job at removing some enemies. We'll just certainly take cover here. Yeah, okay, well that's a shame. Look at the firepower coming out of these droids though.
We're available.
Well, we do have artillery of our own, but yeah, it's just protected over here by the shield generator that comes around. That's going to be a problem. Ripping apart those ATSTs actually.
I copy.
But we can heal here. It's all good. And we need to take this command post now. But those vehicles are going to get in the way. That is a real bother. That is a real bother. That's going to really halt our plans as we evaporate there and get finished off by self-destruct. Okay.
Any orders?
Well, it's going to be a blunt force attack then by the looks of things. We do have one available unit there, so that's got to be more infantry to get past these turbo laser towers, hasn't it? We can catch this command post for a few more points of pop cap there. So let's slowly move forwards now. I think with our infantry and our A9s, we're going to have to repair one A9.
Ready to deploy artillery, sir.
Stuff.
More supplies.
But I think we have dealt with the majority of standard ground units. We're really just waiting on anything coming out of their buildings, which should only be light vehicles, really.
To blow up.
Orders received. Standing by.
A lot of these battle droids as well coming out. Not too much a fan of that, really. Try and get sight over here so our tanks can fire on that. We do finally see a turbo laser tower, so let's get our artillery on that and we can push up their infantry there, can't we? Does Canderous unit have line of sight there? No, it doesn't. Let's pull back. We don't want to be hit there.
Awaiting orders. Orders confirmed. This way, man.
We can use certainly these commandos out from our hero. It would be very, very useful indeed. What do we see here? Speeder bike. Don't like that at all, and that's actually an anti-infantry turret, so we'll pull back a tiny bit. The sort of damage that did actually to us. Let's get that on there. We see an anti-air turret, but we're not really relying on aerial units, are we? Pull back, just keep sight over here. I'm going to get rid of that with our artillery.
I copy.
Wait for these to catch up as well.
If you don't mind paying us to run around. On the
There we
move.
go, lovely stuff. So we'll take these build pads. It's got to be a very slow, methodical approach, isn't it now? Which is a shame.
Ready.
Ready to deploy
Ready and
artillery, sir.
reporting. Form up.
So what's the next problem? Actually, this planetary generator is going to be a problem. Okay. Let's create some turrets here. Pull back. And I think we take this.
Awaiting orders.
Speed through everything. Certainly want to take cover though, because these battle droids aren't going to be a bother. It's proton charge, effective against vehicles, and not so much of a bother there. Get on top of these. Great stuff. Good combination of Raptors and Commandos there. We do see, actually, a bunker, so pull back. So we don't want to be fighting against a bunker like that without any anti-armor capabilities. We can fire through these shields here with our mass drivers, actually, which is very funny.
Now. Need something destroyed.
Again, I think we just fast forward and heal up here. There we go. Lovely stuff. And certainly take this command post finally. Do have a base there. Should we see an anti-vehicle turret?
Reporting.
More infantry, I think. Certainly more Raptors, and these. We'll get one of each. Get one of each.
Move out.
Always useful. Might have been a better idea to bring us another hero.
Always ready,
Not to
sir.
a bother. We can certainly improve our numbers with this base now as well, can't we? Still worried about that power generator.
Construction
complete.
Let's go.
I'll get there.
Hey, look at that.
Positions.
Lovely
Go.
stuff.
We're
Just move
proceeding
in,
this way.
cover very briefly, pull back, reform, get rid of that ATSC. Yeah, and there's another turbo laser tower. Okay, certainly rush that down. There we go, lovely. Pull over to this area. Oh, I don't know why that's moved up like that. We're going to be losing that. Ooh, don't like that at all. That was not ideal for us there.
I copy, sir.
Oh, doing over here with our infantry. We've lost sight. We've lost track.
On lookout position.
Come on. Pull back. The enemy's using their shield there, which is not ideal. Ideal.
I can do that.
Righty, so what's next? I think really just the actual shield generator there so we can move in a bit better. We need to push up here quickly. Oh, you see the power of those shields there, really using that ACSC properly there. Might as well just get rid of that because that's going to prioritise fire away from what we want.
Open fire.
Gets on top of this shield generator finally, and we can start probably moving in with some
Yes,
armor.
Commander. I await your instructions.
Yes. Attacking. This way, man.
Are we able to actually bombard now? We certainly are. Let's get on top of their main office. Ideal. Get rid of these droids. See another turret over there. On top of that. Come on, move these in. We've probably exhausted actually this light factory now. It's just a long slog. Move up the A9 to help heal. Brilliant.
Awaiting orders.
So it didn't go anywhere near according to plan. We got there in the end. We lost a few infantry because of it, but we could certainly take those losses.
Copy.
Let's focus this turret here. Get on top of the infantry here. See another speeder bike coming about.
Men, prepare for a
Lovely stuff. I love how mass drivers bypass shields. Such an amazing. Ooh, okay. They've used the right. They've used the abandoned factory there to get hold of an ACTE. So that's something else we missed out on because our droid push just didn't work.
Orders confirmed.
But our counter assault tank and AT-AP can certainly work on that, so while we distract with our infantry. We might want to get the proton charge out if possible. Is that not throwable? That's interesting. Okay, but the enemy is finally going to retreat, and that might have to be the end of it there today, guys. Yeah, so despite, of course, losing all of those Hulk droids, they weren't, of course, part of our true invasion force. So really we only lost the Raptors and standard army trooper platoons out there. We can certainly accept those losses for Balmora. The question is, how does that affect our legitimacy? 58%, absolutely not a problem. We need either 2 standard planets now, like Kameno would be excellent, or we take Coruscant, and that'd be a very fitting beginning to the reign of the Dark Empire, wouldn't it? We get the KDY subsidiary here. That's different to the standard drive yards, which is very much ideal indeed. So that helps more land units there, which is excellent, and a lot of good space units. So we'll certainly create that. I'm not so worried about the Balmoran arms, because as far as standard buildable units, it doesn't really help us out too much. So not so worried about that, and we can create Balmora into a true production planet if we decide to go to Kameno, which we certainly are going to do, and that will be more defensive. But that, unfortunately, guys, is going to be it for today. I think in the next episode, we're certainly going to be taking Coruscant if we decide to stick to that plan and create the Dark Empire once and for all. and that would be absolutely brilliant. So it's finally coming round at what, cycle 159. Cersei's done it quicker in the past, but you can't be comparing past successes or other people's to current, can you? Well, thank you very much for watching. I shall see you in the future. Hope you enjoyed it today. May all of your nights and days be auspicious. Goodbye.